Hey up everybody and welcome back. Well, summer's here. It's about 90 degrees today. The hum you can hear in the background is the air conditioner. So I've been gardening and I've been out on the tractor digging a pond and what have you, which my impertinent daughter just calls a hole in the ground, but never mind. So anyway, what I have been doing this week, I've been spending some money. Bits and pieces have arrived. So what we're going to do today is you're going to see the bits and pieces, which will be really exciting. Then we'll fit them, and we have one last job to do actually on the forks. You remember I mentioned that I had to have a way of locking the top yoke onto the stem. You know, normally the top yoke on the British bikes anyway would be split and the stem would come up and be threaded on the outside, and you'd screw a big nut which would go onto the stem and down into the top yoke, and then you could clamp up the top yoke, clamp up on that big nut so nothing moved, nothing unfastened. So I've got a way of doing that even with the internal thread on the stem, so we'll come to that. Okay, so what have I bought? Well, I bought a big round rubber band. That's what fastens the tank down, the back of the tank, which they call an O-ring. And I bought the various bits for fastening the battery down. Well, you'll see them in time. Okay, also, I never did find, but I was out of shot then, I never did find the clip-ons, so I bought some new ones, and they're really nice. CNC'd from billet aluminium. The nice thing about these is even the handlebars are clamp, so I can shorten these, put them where I want them. I put all my bits and pieces on, then decide where I want them and just push them through a little bit, clamp them up. So I also had a trip to the bike breakers and got Yamaha 750 switchgear. So that's twist grip, it's got the starter button, and it's got the engine run thing on off. And for the other side, it's got let's see, it's got the horn, it's got the indicators, and it's got the main and dip, or high and low as they would call it here. Also found out something very handy. I used to have an 850, and I'm pretty sure the 850 was electronic ignition. Well, the 750 is points, just like the Tridents and the Rocket 3s, 3 pairs of points. So fiddly you might say, but the thing is that means I don't have CDI boxes and all sorts of stuff, so it'll really make wiring it up easily. And also, when I went on eBay, look what I found. I was missing this cover. It's outer cover. There's the plate, the points, condensers, everything like that. And in this cover is the clutch operating mechanism as well. So I got all of that for $30, which I thought was pretty good. So actually, oh, I got something else as well. I'll get that in a minute. I also bought, when I was down at Kenny's, the breakers, 2 pairs of 650 forks. Now, you may remember that, I keep saying that as well, don't I, that one of the mountings for the mudguard was broken on those forks. So what I'm going to do is just, and actually the drain plugs drain screws were damaged as well. There's a fair amount of work to be done to make them nice. So I'm going to put them to one side, put a pair of these on. And I got 2 pairs because the other pair will go in those Yamaha 650 yokes, which are now straight ones. That's for a project which will come up. And the ones that are in the bike, when they're fixed, are for another project I have in mind. What else did I buy? I bought a front mudguard. And last but not least, hold on, don't go away. I got a starter motor, so that I think is about it for the engine. So when we come round to building the engine, I won't have to chase around to find anything. So what we're going to do now is pop the front wheel out, take the forks out. While the forks are out, I'm going to do that little job on the top yoke, and then we'll put the clip-ons on and put the wheel back in and put the mudguard on. We can see where everything's going and whether we've got clearances and how it looks and stuff like that. So let's press on. We're also going to tidy the headstock up a little bit. To get everything right, I've actually dropped this bearing down a little bit. Now the bottom bearing was exactly right. The OD was 2 inches, which was right for that. Top bearing was slightly smaller, and as luck would have it, the idea of the headstock, not the part that's sort of bored out to take the bearings, is exactly the right size for this smaller top brace. So what I've done is I've dropped it down a little bit. Now I've put a piece in here. At the moment it's sort of an alloy tube, which you can see here, it's thick walled. I mean, I've only just left enough through the centre to take the stem. So I've drilled it and tapped it and put 2 bolts in. So the top bearing is now pressed down on that, and that's pressed down on the bottom bearing. I don't see that as being a problem, because all the force on these bearings is actually coming from the bottom, because of course the bike is sitting on the forks, it's sitting on the bottom yoke. The top bearing is more a question of it being a guiding bearing. The bottom one is taking most of the pressure, so we're fine. What I might do is make a steel piece to go in there, and then I can drill a couple of holes and weld it in, but I think everything's fine. So anyway, that means the top yoke's a little bit further down. So what I'm going to do is take this piece off, tidy it up. It'll make the bearing come almost to the top, so we won't have a little well here that's going to collect water and stuff. So let me cut that off, and then we'll do the top yoke. I found the centre and started to drill before I forgot to switch you on. So first thing is a hole the right size for the 5/16 tap. Okay, then the 5/16 tap. Right, next thing is we're going to put the forks together, so the stem's in here, and then we're going to put a transfer punch down there and pop a mark on, and I'll show you what we're going to do then. Now this is of course on the centre line of this stem, but it's a lot easier just to put a mark on and be absolutely certain. Nice. So now what we're going to do is take this apart again, put this in the mill, and we're going to mill a slot in there. Well, not a slot, no. We're going to mill a little, almost like a keyway in there. The 5/16 grub screw that I'm getting has a 204 thou nose on it. So we're going to mill down just a little bit. We can make it 1/4 inch, but I'll try and make it as close to 204. And then that way, when all this is in, we fasten that in. Not only is it going to act as a set screw, a grub screw to actually clamp against that, but because we're putting the keyway in, this isn't going to be able to move either. So I think that's going to be more than ample. So let me set this in the mill. Now, the reason, if you're wondering why I don't just put a hole there for that pin to go into, that grub screw to go into, it's because as the bearings wear, etc., we might have to adjust the pressure on these bearings, so this is going to move a little bit, the 2 yokes in relation to each other. Not much, so all I'm going to do is, this is an 1/8 inch end mill. I'm going to go about 1/4 inch either side of the point we put the punch mark in, and that'll give me plenty of play, and we'll just take it from there. So let's get ourselves sorted here. Start my I was going to press the button then. Of course I've already pressed the button, haven't I? Right, I've come a 1/4 inch this way. I'm going to go a 1/4 inch that way and a couple of deeper passes and then move it out a little bit to get my 200th thou. But I won't bore you with that because I could probably use a much higher speed, feed speed, but you know, I've got lots of time but I don't have lots of end mills. So let me switch you off and come back when that's done. And there's our little sort of keyway there. I don't know how well you can see it with the light. So let's go and put the forks back together. Right, there's the forks in. Of course, I've just found out, well, I could rummage, I suppose, that I don't have any 8mm bolts, and they're 8mm for the mudguard. So I'll have a quick rummage around. I might have some. Oh, get in there. Right. Why won't that go through there? Come on, you're not even up the other side yet. Now we are. Oh, of course it goes through just as the forks swing out the way. There we go. There we go. Nut. Nut on that side. Okay, 13mm pinch bolts. Oh, you look at that. Why would they bother doing that? Changing from 13 on one set of forks to 14 on another set. Don't tell me they suddenly discovered the wheels were falling out because these bolts were stripping or something. I don't think an extra millimetre would make that much difference, would you? Alright. Now, as I say, we don't have any 8mm. What have I done with it now? There it is. That's going to go on there like thus. I'm actually going to paint this. You probably can't see it so much on the video, but the chrome. I bought a cheap one because I was planning to paint it in the as yet to be revealed spectacular colour scheme. Let me put the tank on and I'll move you around so you can get a sideways view. Right, there we go from this angle. Not sure about where to put the clip-ons yet. But that actually is at full lock on this side, and masses of room. Same at the top, if I had them further up. Okay. Just toying with the idea of getting a little nose cone fairing, but I had a stiff talking to by my wallet, so I maybe won't. But what I have been thinking of, you know, this really looks different when it's on the ground. And I had another bike up here while I was fiddling on with it. And I think what I might do is lower the front tank mounted. I might even be able to move it. You remember we moved it back? I'd just like to get the tank line level at the bottom. And I think I've got enough room now with the engine canted the way it is and all that sort of thing. And I'd probably give myself a little more space around those coils. So I haven't made my mind up about that yet, but that's probably something I'll do. But I don't think that looks half bad. And yes, you were all absolutely right, those forks are much better. So there you go, that's it for today. I popped some little 6mm bolts in there just to put that in place so it wasn't sitting on the mudguard. Tell you what, see, I don't know about them being chrome. I'm gonna have to you know, humped seat. I'm toying with the idea of making my own saddle, but I don't know yet. Okay, that's enough for the day. So until next time, enjoy yourselves.